Hello there, welcome to our channel. Our story is something out of the ordinary. This story is about why this bus driver instantly called the cops shortly after a boy boarded his bus. Before we start, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated with all the new videos and amazing stories we have coming up for you. It's not unusual for bus drivers to see different faces of people from different walks of life. Their job is to transport people daily, so it's not new to them to meet various people while on the job. Usually, they tend to forget about these people right away. However, on the 5th of July 2015, Tim Watson was met with the most unexpected bus ride of his life. A man and a little boy boarded his bus that day. He wouldn't have guessed what would happen next. Fortunately, with his keen eyes and quick actions, he managed to save someone's life. The faces of people that day will forever remain in his memory. Watson went to work that Friday morning expecting it to be an ordinary day. His typical routine usually included him going to work, watching passengers get in and out at every bus stop, and then going home after a long day. He had been working at the Santa Clara Valley Transportation Authority for 8 months. Of course, he has seen all types of passengers. Each one paid him no attention. He already knew to mind his own business and leave them be. However, that changed when a little boy and a man rode the bus. Watson's route began at the Great Mall in the Bay Area city of Milpitas, California. The regular passengers boarded the bus on their way to school or work. Sometimes, first-timers take his bus route. When he was about to start the engine, a man suddenly approached him and asked him a question. He asked me what time the bus was leaving. I told him it leaves at 11:13 a.m. He said to the Marin Independent Journal. It was nothing out of the ordinary since he gets asked a lot of similar questions. After that, the man entered the bus along with a little boy. When he tried to pay $2 for the bus fare, Watson told him that it cost $4 for the express bus ride. In response, the man took out a transit card for disabled persons to get a discounted fare. Watson took a good look at the man. He looked like he was in his mid-20s and didn't appear to be disabled, but he knew not to pay them attention and let them be. The man and the boy decided to sit in the back. He started to notice that the little boy was crying. He didn't give it much thought since this happened frequently, especially with young children. Some even had bouts of tantrums. Watson thought that this might be the case and decided to stay out of their business. However, he couldn't shake off the feeling that there was something else going on with the little boy. It looked like it wasn't just a childish outburst. Watson kept looking at the crying little boy through his rear-view mirror instead of focusing on the road. He saw the man shushing the boy and even told him to rest and go to sleep. Despite the man's attempts, the boy kept crying. This scenario gave Watson an uncomfortable feeling. He began to think that something was off with the little boy's situation. He decided to keep his attention on the two. Watson heard a beeping sound from the VTA, informing all its drivers about a child abduction that happened earlier that morning. They were alerted that a 3-year-old boy was taken from the Milpitas Public Library around 10:40 in the morning that day. It said that the missing 3-year-old boy wore a dark blue shirt with plaid shorts and red Crocs sandals. As he read the full message, it compelled him to put the pieces together. He immediately wondered if the incident had a connection with the little boy who was crying in the back. He looked at his rearview mirror, but he wasn't able to recognize what the boy was wearing. Watson's eyes were on the road, so he couldn't do anything at the moment. He wanted to focus his attention on the road, but his parental instincts kicked in. As a father himself, he couldn't help but feel sorry for the parents of the missing child. Watson was dumbfounded after realizing that the VAT alert also described the abductor as an African-American man, approximately 25 years old and wearing a black hooded sweatshirt and jeans. He quickly linked the description to the man that the little boy was with. Watson needed to confirm as soon as possible that these people were the ones the police were searching for. He kept looking back and forth at the man who looked like he couldn't wait to get off the bus. Watson was smart enough to devise a plan that involved verifying the man's identity and at the same time keeping them on board. After thinking hard about his next course of action, he pulled off the freeway and made his move. He was aware that it wasn't part of his route, but he needed to perform his plan without any hitches. When he stopped in front of the nearest McDonald's, he came up with an excuse and announced that he was in search of a green backpack that was left behind by someone who already got off the bus. It was the best excuse he could come up with to be able to take a closer look at the man and the little boy. Fortunately, all the passengers didn't complain about his sudden stop since the backpack could have given them the wrong impression, like a bomb threat. Watson then asked the passengers to check their seats while he also pretended to check, and he made his way towards the back of the bus. When he finally got to where the man and the little boy were seated, he asked the man if he had seen the missing backpack. To which the man replied that he had not seen it. He was finally able to get a good look at the little boy's clothes. That's what really stuck out in my mind, Watson told ABC7. His suspicions were finally confirmed. Watson went back to his seat and made a discreet phone call. He went on with his usual route. If anyone were to look at him, he could have passed as someone who was calling their headquarters, telling them that he couldn't find the missing backpack. Instead, he called VTA to inform them that the missing child was on the bus along with the suspect. Watson was directed to go on with his route and to drive slowly as they alerted the police. The bus was already in the city of Fremont, miles away from where the child was kidnapped. Watson was still driving cautiously as he was almost at his last stop. He glimpsed at his rearview mirror to check on the suspect and the little boy. He noticed that the boy had finally stopped crying. Meanwhile, the man looked eager to get off the bus. The two of them weren't aware of what was going on. Despite knowing that the police were already on their way to catch the suspect, Watson was still anxious about the fact that one single mistake could tip the guy off and get away with it. He knew he had to do his best to rescue the little boy. When he was nearing his next stop at the Fremont BART station, he saw police cruisers trailing behind the bus with their lights flashing but their sirens off. Fortunately, the bus had no windows at the back so that the man wouldn't be able to notice the police following behind. Eventually, Watson finally halted at the bus stop and saw several police officers approaching behind the bus. He knew that his next move would be crucial for the boy's rescue. So I opened the door, slowly giving them time to get prepped and ready to go on. I opened the door, the gentleman walked out calm, cool, and collected as can be, and they took him down on the spot, Watson narrated to ABC7 News. The suspect was completely caught off guard because he had no clue that the police were already outside waiting for him. The man attempted to get away, but the police were able to restrain and arrest him for what he had done. The little boy was finally saved because of Watson's help. His parents were already notified by the police that he had been found and rescued. They reunited at the police station where the little boy was taken to answer some questions. They were too distressed to give a statement to the media. However, they were utterly thankful for the heroic deed of the bus driver. Tim Watson was hailed as a local hero when the story made it to the headlines. If it weren't for his intuition and quick thinking, the abductor could have managed to get on board the BART trains, taking the child with him only to be never seen again. Once it was all done, Watson couldn't believe the events that had transpired. That's when my own kids came to mind and I just broke down. I couldn't help myself. I just wanted to go inside the bus and reflect. Watson recalled. The police said that the suspect had no direct connection with the family. They couldn't conclude the reason for kidnapping their son. Regardless of what his motives were, it was fortunate that he got on the bus that Watson drove, or else the kidnapper would have gotten away with it. As a bus driver, Watson was trained on how to handle these kinds of situations, especially with suspected human trafficking. However, he claimed that it wasn't his training that saved the little boy's life. Even though we had all this training, the father instinct kicked in, he told Milpitas Independent Journal. That's the end of our story. Thank you for listening. Did you enjoy it? What do you think of it? Please make sure to leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think. If you liked our story, please click that like button. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification button to stay updated with our new videos every week. See you in the next video!